welcome back to another stream. We're doing some more speedrunning, but this time it's a new character. Yep, playing Artificer. Plan is to go through every main slug cat added in Downpour, and hopefully I can fill this save file up with a bunch of good times. So we're on Artificer now, and like Gourmand, I have already done some amount of attempts, but no like full good run, which is especially difficult as this character because I think for Artificer there's the main difficulty is dealing with other creatures, which also means that I can't do the strategy that I had for other runs, which is to practice without any creatures using that mod to get an idea of what the movement of the run would be like, because there's no such thing as a run without dealing with creatures for Artificer. That's like completely unrealistic. So you exit out at the beginning right here, just to make these scavengers at the beginning easier to deal with. There's a small bit of tech that I'd learned that I figured out recently. And well, there's a few options here. I'll have to explain as I go. Hopefully these scavengers aren't a problem. Of course they'll be a problem, but like right now in this area. So while you're holding a scavenger, you can hold on to one other item that isn't the spear. You can't hold a spear and a scavenger at the same time. You can hold on to a rock or a vulture mask. And the strategy that I used was to bring with you a scavenger mask, or a vulture mask. I guess scavenger masks too, if it's an elite, right? And that would mean that you can ignore dealing with lizards for the whole run. They'd be scared off by the vulture mask, and you can just run past them. However, this means that you can't do throw boosts. No like extended slides, no any of that. But I found that if you pick up a rock in your first hand, and then pick up the scavenger will always stay in your second hand, which means that you can always pick up rocks and do like throw boosts and extended slides and stuff like that. And if I was better at the game, I'd be doing extended hops all over the place here. I don't really want to risk doing that too much, since, you know, doing the regular explosive double jump is already quite fast. This is a room I'm really not good at. There's a much more consistent strategy if you like actually learn where the poles are placed in that room. There's this little secret pipe right here to take a quick shortcut through the region. And for the most part, I think that it's not necessary to have a vulture mask right now. You have such good mobility and the like stun ability that you can deal with lizards most of the time without needing a mask, right? If you're fast and if you're in an open enough area. Oops, no need to go up there. So I haven't really made use of throw boosting at all here. There's something slightly annoying about it, since the inputs that you need to do a double jump is pick up and jump. If you're just walking along the ground and you pick up a rock and you happen to jump at the same time, then you'll do a double jump. Just because. Or you'll do a parry, which is quite bad because it means you can do less double jumps later. So it can be a little bit annoying to try to pick things up. It's probably worth it in like the handful of situations where it is useful. This is a lizard here. I'm surprised I didn't. I think I just dropped the rock I was holding instead of doing a parry. There's a little strategy I found for this room. There you go. Because getting into that pipe can actually be a little bit difficult while carrying a scavenger. This lizard can be annoying sometimes. The thing is that you think that the run is going well. Like the hardest part of the run is definitely the very end of it. There's one room that you need to get past that's absolutely filled with scavengers, and then you need to fight the scavenger king after that, so yeah, good luck with all of that at the very end of the run. And plus just getting to that point is quite difficult. Having to get past all of the other scavengers throughout Metropolis and the wall. Definitely the hardest part of the run. Especially just, since you need to start the run by getting to the wall in a single cycle while dealing with everything else. It's, you know, it all adds up. So there we go. That's an extended slide. Can't do that most of the time. Let's see if I can do it here. There we go. So I'm sure that if you like a world record run in the future might require you to use throw boosting and not use the vulture mask. Okay, I thought that was a lizard. Just an egg book. I don't like that. I could have, if I went faster, I could have outrun that lizard. Let's just go up this way, you know. Tried to do a wall jump in that room earlier, but it didn't work out because if you're like upside down, you can't do a wall jump. And you spin around quite a bit after double jumps, so. So you see, I already got past, or got to Chimney Canopy without really having too many difficulties with lizards, so. But Chimney Canopy is probably the worst region for lizards, so. And vultures. They don't even care about the mask. Also, I'm not using splits right now because I didn't set them up in advance, but also because this is mostly practice. So I'm going to spend a lot of time around the end, probably just retrying rooms a lot to practice them better. So like even if I get past the first try, I might like go back and retry them more. Also, hello, welcome to the stream. Doing some speedrun practice for Artificer this time. This elite is actually quite scary since you can't really jump above him as easily. Ooh, there's another one too. If I can just get through here quickly. Alright. Spider. Okay, I almost did it's going to do a parry there. Did let go. Oh, nice fruit up here. Okay, that wasn't ideal, but at least we made it out. Oh. You usually don't want to be up there when trying to go into that pipe, but it worked out. This run probably has the most like on-the-fly decisions. Most improvising. There's always going to be creatures in the way, and you always need to find out an alternative getting around them. Oh, I don't like you. I wanted them to go flying a little bit further, but so that works. And another cool thing about this category is that you don't even need to be very efficient with your movement. Still not a great thing, because the alternative is that you never die. That's the goal for this run. Get through the whole thing without dying. Without any other major mistakes. Ooh. Because this is a very dangerous run, and like in some like actual like pretty good runs on the leaderboards right now still have deaths in them. So dying does not mean your run is over for Artificer, but dying too much definitely will slow you down a lot. I think Artie would be friends with the monk. I think all the Slickets would be friends with each other. Especially because of how isolated Artificer must feel this whole time, being forced to basically just kill everyone. Whoops. Oh, it's because I dropped the scavenger at some point, so they were in the wrong hand. The nice thing here is that you no longer need the scavenger. Oh, I have plenty of time left in this cycle, so it's actually not that bad to get here. Imagine if this was just like a god run from the start. Like, all right, that's it. That's all. That's Artificer done. First try. That's unrealistic though. I'm gonna die so much. And now is where I would like a vulture mask actually. Could have been something dangerous. Already insane we need each other. Maybe. Okay. There's movement. Movement can be improved here. I think I might try to get the speedrun to the point where I'm practicing individual rooms to figure out the optimal movement. And like where should you use it, like explosive jumps, and where you should do normal movement to recover your explosive jumps. Kind of like Gourmand's stamina system, but a lot simpler. Is it better to use explosive jumps in this room or to like save your charges for a later room, because normal movement is like pretty close to being optimal too. I don't like. Whoops, that's not ideal. Okay, that's just disappointing, honestly. Oh, I never shelter. Maybe I should shelter. Maybe I should shelter in a few places if I'm just gonna be practicing. Yeah, I should probably shelter at the bottom of the wall. Just to practice that segment a bit more. But it might be unrealistic since it's at the end of the cycle when you actually get there. I don't know. Scavenger doesn't have a weapon. Okay, I probably should do less explosive jumps in this area because I tend to run out stamina to do that one jump that's actually necessary. That's something to keep in mind. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. How did I make it through that? I think I was close enough to the King Scavenger so that they didn't think that it was worth harpooning me. But I was fast enough to not get grabbed normally. Also, I guess another funny thing about this run, if you die and you like just respawn, it's the, like, ideally you would finish the run in a single cycle. That's completely unrealistic. But maybe at some point world records are going to require that you do the whole thing in a single cycle, because it's definitely possible. Like, once you make it past the wall, the rain isn't a problem, and you can just do the rest. Okay. I don't know why Artie can survive acid for a bit. It's like, ideally, you do the whole thing in a single cycle. Okay. But this is a problem. But there's a few places where you shelter usually, depending on your like level with the run. You may want to shelter in a lot of places to be safe, or you may want to only shelter at the very end, because there's a shelter right before the King Scavenger, because there's a scavenger toll that you have to get past, which is really rough. And then once you get past, you have to fight the Scav King. And there's a shelter right before both of those. So usually you take that shelter because you're probably going to die to the Scavenger Toll or the Scav King. Right, and even good runs sometimes die to that last area. Or you might want to shelter at the beginning of the wall, or shelter at the beginning of Metropolis. You know, there's a lot of options. Which I'm probably going to take all those options for now. Because I think this run has a chance of being like pretty easy actually. As long as if you're fine with a few mistakes here and there, obviously, then you could do like a decent run and not too many attempts. I think, at least I think I could. Wait, let's try doing this here. If I'm not going to carry the Vulture Mask, I might as well take advantage of it. Oh, I had it there. Just don't, if you have the good position, don't throw it away like that. That's all I have to do. I'll try to stay above this lizard, but there's scavengers. You know, what a surprise, there's scavengers. Artificers camping. Well, that's a little bit more than is ideal. Go down. I don't like you. Oh, that's an interesting comparison to make. Right, it's kind of hard to tell what exactly the scavengers are, because like most creatures can be explained by having some sort of purpose for the ancients, as they were all purpose organisms, or at least like descendants of purpose organisms. Ooh, I don't like you. I think one common theory is that scavengers were kind of like a form of entertainment for the ancients. Yeah, that leap is going all over the place. I really need to get better at doing that parry. Oh, hello. Can be really useful in some situations. I think I was also in a pretty good position to grab that ultra mask. Like that they were stunned and their head was right there that I could have bitten off, but the mask specifically. You can't bite off their heads. It's not possible. Oh, right, really? Okay, we're looking for a new scavenger now. It's hard to say how exact. Oh, wow, good scavenger. It's hard to tell how important karma was for just like regular society. Because I kind of had the idea that there was like multiple groups of people within like ancient society, and some people took the whole like karma thing and ascension and like trying to find an escape. Like that was like one like culture, and then there were people who like completely ignored that and just did whatever they want. Like I imagine that the people that originally discovered the void fluid was like a completely different group of people compared to those who wanted to try to ascend. Because the whole technological revolution that the void fluid gave them, I don't think most of the ancients would have been interested in that if they were focusing on. Wow. If they were focusing on trying to ascend, they wouldn't be so focused on like material wealth, and, like technology and stuff. So like trying to like have good karma might not have been something that like most ancients cared about. That's a possibility. And it's only like a subsection of their culture. Oh great, I don't like this. You know, it's funny that this room was, I considered this as like a good place to get a, I think I got stabbed, but fine. Like, yeah, this will be a good place to get a vulture mask. It's totally safe. Which I could still do. I'm still not sure if it's like a great idea. Because getting a vulture mask is quite inconsistent. I mean, I'm not great at it yet. But like, it doesn't even help too much if you could just avoid lizards pretty well on your own. There we go. I think that's a pretty good way to do that room. Hello? There we go. Although you do have to try to figure out how to get around these lizards. You see, like, was that really that bad? I don't think so. And Echo says, yeah, like, okay, so there's an Echo and Shaded Citadel, I believe that's the right one. And they're like talking about how kind of like luxurious their ascension was. Like about the whole ritual and like how like fancy it was and how everyone was like they were very proud of themselves. And that's why they became an Echo. So like their previous culture of like, oh wow, I really picked up every single leech. Or was that just the scavenger looking like a leech? I thought his arms were leeches. So like part of their culture was like try to follow the whole like karma system. And some of them completely ignored that while still like ascending. And there's also others who never had the desire to ascend. But they were kind of forced to as part of their like culture. I assume that the whole like global ascension thing, that was some of the, I really need to get better at parrying. Apparently there were these like global ascensions where they're just like big waves of ancients ascending. But I assume that like we're kind of forced, like not even if you didn't want to ascend. Oh wow, hi karma scan. Like everyone had to go anyway, like in big groups. And I assume that the Saint Echo was part, or the Undergrowth Echo was one of those. Let's try this here. Okay, never mind. There's the second vulture. Ah. What is this? The funny thing, there's this like interpretation. There's like various interpretations of what exactly the cycle was like for the ancients. So I've heard this one particular interpretation that it's like an inherently painful experience. I think that there's an idea of like kind of like this loop of getting to old age and dying of natural causes, only to be brought back to the brought back through the cycle to the moment right before you died of old age. So you just like that just repeats over and over again for like forever. So I think like the way that they describe that kind of scenario, you can imagine that a lot of them would want to ascend, but that also doesn't really make sense because it would just mean that people are stuck like dying all the time, and how would they ever make like progress if eventually they all ended up in that loop? I think there was also a comparison between that kind of interpretation of the cycle and comparing it to the game itself, and saying like the game is like unfair and like kind of not fun at times because it wants you to feel like an ancient suffering through the cycle, so it wants you to go and ascend to stop playing the game. Like the game is so like painful and unfair to play that it makes you feel like an ancient who wants to ascend, thus giving you a motivation to find an ending to the game. But then like there's like this is actually a pretty common thing in Downpour, where there's the idea of the cycle being like a bad thing. It's like kind of questioned a whole lot. Some of the echoes said that they never wanted to ascend. And the whole like Gourmand's story is kind of, and you know, a lot of the stories are kind of like happy endings, where it's like, you know, let's not bother with ascension. Let's just like live like a peaceful life, you know. That rock was after me. Wow, that was an instantaneous throw. I think it is kind of strange that the entire like start of the game, or like vanilla Rain World, tries to convince you that the cycle is a bad thing and that like everyone should want to ascend, and then Downpour tries to convince you that like it's not that bad, and that maybe it was because of the ancients' culture that made them want to ascend and like escape the cycle instead of the cycle itself. Oh, average garbage waste. Oh goodness. I think that like for a wild animal, I mean it also depends, because maybe like a wild animal wouldn't be able to comprehend what exactly is going on with the cycle. It'd probably be worse for an animal like the ones in Rain World, having to like hunt for food all the time and like potentially starve or get like hunted by predators in like awful ways. So like I think like the cycle like makes sense to be like inherently unappealing to a wild animal, but also maybe they aren't as good at like comprehending the cycle exactly. Like they don't exactly carry memories between cycles if they die, so it's not as painful for them. But I feel like the ancients, you know, if they had like a society, if they like found ways to make their lives better, then like the cycle's like inherently a good thing. It just means that people don't die essentially, and you get to like carry experiences from your past life. You know, and maybe it was just because of their culture that made them want to escape the cycle, or maybe like there was a way that they could have improved their lives to actually like enjoy it. Like a lot of it depends on your interpretation of what exactly the cycle is and what it's like to like experience it, which of course we can't ever know. All we know is the gameplay side, and it's basically just respawning. Some of these rooms are so peaceful. Go no creatures at all. That's crazy. There's always some creatures in Artificer. Oh, I can never see how you would use parries effectively because they reuse so much of your charge. It always feels better to do a double jump instead. Whoa. I don't want to land there. I think that the world definitely wasn't going to end. That's definitely not what the Saints campaign is about. It's just about the ancients civilization coming to an end. Because, you know, there's the scavengers, there's the orange lizards. Like the ecosystem is perfectly fine. Did you really have to do that? It's just that the ancients were long gone and the iterators were falling apart. And maybe like living atop the iterators in the cities is like kind of dystopian. Maybe that wasn't the best experience. They kind of were like they didn't enjoy living in that kind of world. Anyway, can I get this scavenger? And that's not even enough karma, but whatever, I'll find another scavenger. That's kind of an interesting theory. Maybe they were just like very, very sad about like sacrificing the entire world for the sake of their experiments that didn't even work out. Like they tried so hard to find a solution to their problem that they sacrificed everything for it. Or maybe it's just because of the conflict of the cultures that wanted to ascend, who of course already wanted to ascend. That was already their motivation. Versus the people who didn't want to ascend, who were kind of in conflict because the ones who wanted to ascend kept making like sacrifices. Like building the iterators eventually made it so that it was impossible to live anywhere else, right? You can't live on the surface because of the rain, or like outside of a region like too far away from an iterator because of it was like kind of like inhospitable already. So everyone had to sacrifice like their whole life because of the small, maybe the potentially small group of people who wanted to ascend and built the iterators, right? And so you had a group of people, a group of ancients who wanted to ascend, and a group of people who didn't want to ascend but whose lives were ruined by those who did. And that kind of conflict meant that everyone in the end wanted to ascend. Did not want to go through that pipe. Well, just put some more scavengers here. Oh, nice karma. Like think of that one pearl that's talking about the shaded citadel. Like it's someone like really who really doesn't want 5 levels to be constructed because it would be over the citadel, right? Which they considered like kind of a sacred place. I mean, like that whole group of people and their culture was kind of like ruined by the construction of pebbles, and then they had to go live on top of pebbles afterwards. They were forced to. Oops, why did that happen? Anyway, I'm going to shelter here so I can get some good practice on the whole like wall segment. It does get kind of strange because you have to go to Pebbles, like stay at a shelter, go to Pebbles, return to the shelter, go to Metropolis. So maybe I'll have to stay in that shelter anyway. Right, I literally just said I'm gonna stay in that shelter. Also means I need to get a little bit more food. It's kind of like, I'm going to avoid spoilers here, but it's kind of like Echoes of the Eye. So if you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. And also don't spoil anything in the chat if you do know. Yep, I definitely want to do that. I know there's a possible reason of wanting to disable wall pounces for Artificer because they don't really seem that useful. And I tend to accidentally wall pounce after doing a explosive jump into a wall. Oh, they definitely heard that. Excuse me. I'm holding a batfly right now. These lion lizards are definitely going to catch up with me. Are you still playing? You're playing it right now. I don't know how spoiler sensitive that whole thing is, but just wanted to like point out there's a little bit of a similarity, but also like it depends on the interpretation of the ancients. We still kind of have no idea. Oh wow, that lizard didn't die. That's surprising. I guess because it wanted to grab onto the pole. But you think that's what it would always want to do. Oh wow, that was way too clean. Four accidental wall pounces and 0 intentional ones. I leave it on because it's always cool when I find when I find a place to make use of wall pounces. Although it doesn't really make sense to keep on for Artificer because your movement is already so good that you don't really need wall pounces. For other characters, for Gourmand, for Survivor, Monk, and especially Rivulet, wall pounces are useful. I do like to have the wall pounces on for them. But I usually just forget to like turn it off and on whenever I want to, because it's annoying to have to turn it off every time I play a different character and have to turn it back on when I do change your character where it is useful. Oh goodness. I think this is the shelter that you normally stay at. I am thinking of a few places where wall pounces might be useful. for Artificer, but to kind of practice that movement specifically. And it's only in like a handful of rooms anyway. There's also the potential for some really jank tech for wall bounces would be necessary, but I haven't even like gotten that to successfully work once. Whoops. You know what? There's a lizard up there. Let's just take this route, because our Artificer can actually do this. So here's a kind of boring part of the run. Well, except for the whole like scavenger zone. Right after this, it's just going to Pebbles, getting the mark and stuff, and then working back here to get the Metropolis. Just kind of have to walk through this region a few times. But then in this room, it's particularly annoying because of all the scavengers. There's usually scavengers here. So far I don't see any, which probably means that there's a big clump of them over here. I heard that you can see them on the map. But I'm not, I guess there's nothing here already, so. That'd be very surprising. Wow. Really nothing. They can still be in here. No scavengers at all. That was very lucky, or there's something that I did that prevented them from spawning. Like maybe because I sheltered. No, I sheltered in the same place that you normally do. That's strange. Okay, let's just mess that up both times. I don't know if you can just like skip this cutscene. Sort of cutscene. The whole interaction with Pebbles. I don't know if you can just skip it. I love that you can do this. I also wanted to try like a speedrun where you just you go to Pebbles as Artificer. I really like 0G movement with the double jump. Maybe there's a place where it's useful. I'm going to check. While we're waiting for this, I'm going to I want to see if you can skip this cutscene. Usually when you meet Pebbles, you can just exit out of the game and your progress will be saved. Yes, they do exit out. Okay. Lost a little bit of time, but it's not a problem. Just practicing after all. Which means that I got very lucky with the wall. The top of the wall, because that's the only place where you run into a lot of scavengers in a wide open area. Well, not the only place. There's some places in a Metropolis where it's difficult too, but... Oh. Yeah, that threw those in the wrong order. You're supposed to die to that. Wow, I did a parry. Actually, that's not a problem at all. I'm right here anyway. I think that there might be some flat amount of time that you lose and you die. And that's why, like... That's why like times are usually so different. In Artificer runs, there's only a few deaths might add a lot of time to the run. I'm not sure about that. I haven't really looked at the timer. And it might only apply... Well, no, that wouldn't make sense. We're going over here. This should be open now. Yep. I go across the long room. Should I really be carrying this? I kind of want to shelter here. So I'd get to practice the just Metropolis instead of having to go through the whole gate again. So I'm going to shelter here. You probably wouldn't in a normal run. You would, depending on your skill level. If you think you're confident with getting through Metropolis in a single cycle, then you can go try that. But it's also like about, you see, like if you decide to try to get here in a single cycle, then you are going to spend a lot more attempts. Just a lot more tries to get through the entirety of the run without dying. There's like a decent amount of luck involved, and you're not always going to. It's hard. It's a hard category. So there's a lot more sheltering than normal, just for safety. So hopefully I remember the routes. Nice slowdown there. I'm once again still wondering, like, my game has a lot of lag spikes. Okay, I really should turn them off. My game is quite laggy in some scenarios, especially when I'm in downpour regions or like right after entering a region. The game lags quite a bit, and it's probably noticeable in the live stream. I'd like to know if there's something that I can do that might help. I totally missed. And maybe it's just my computer not being the greatest. It's like pretty good, but I wouldn't think that it'd be a problem with Rain World. You got caught. Other grapple worms. Ooh, that's not, dude. That's not nice. That was close. But a different scavenger might have hurt me there. You can also shelter here. Just another decent option. Okay, I really should turn them off if I'm going to be practicing Artificer for a while. They only seem to get in the way. Oh, a second one? Even better. Just going to get the centipede down there. I didn't even see where I was for a bit. Okay, why am I down here? Why did I throw at that vulture there? Obviously distracted. Okay, what is this? Guess you get to hear the threat music. There's a vulture mask up there that I kind of wanted to get, but I'm going to wait for this. Actually, I can just grab them. If I had more food, I would be more confident with creating a explosive spear here. See if we could just run past before this vulture comes back, if it left. It might just be waiting at the top of the room. That's a dead vulture, though. I really don't like this room. You just need a lot of double jumps to navigate it, and it means that you're going to run out of stamina at some point. Not really stamina. Just playing Gourmand. There's a limited capacity of limited number of double jumps you can do. I wish this guy wasn't like directly in the way though. Or these scavengers. Actually, I could probably do this. Or not. Really? That really got in the way? Okay. And now all the scavengers I've gotten here because of that delay. Honestly, I don't even think this vulture mask will help me that much. If I'm dealing with scavengers. Oh, they picked up that karma flower. Oh no. Whatever will I do? But like, you see the amount of distance that you get from doing a wall pounce like that. Like, I feel like that could be useful in some areas, maybe, possibly. I don't know why that scavenger didn't immediately throw his spear there. Or are we still here? Everyone's favorite room right here. I really like this transition here of Metropolis to like more Pebbles like structures. Dude, how are you still alive? But like the more technology as you go further into the region. Don't like these guys. Why are there so many in this little room? Oh wow, that was risky. I don't know how I'm alive. I always see that room as that room where that one challenge was with the gun. That was a fun challenge. Big fan of how long droplets get stunned for. Oh, I'm already full on food. Oh, I ate the vulture, that's why. I do want to have full food so I can make some explosives in Rain World, not in real life. Just the game. These are some cool rooms up here. Not really that dangerous, except for vultures. Nice backgrounds. Why are you guys here? You just go. Oh goodness. You guys aren't allowed to be here. So I think this is the shelter that we're going to take. Like you should take the shelter unless you're going for a perfect run, because the next like few rooms are very, very dangerous and at the very end, so you really don't want to lose time here. Some nice food to start the cycle off with. Still alive. It's so hard to get let go of Greekers sometimes, but also so hard to pick them up. Whatever you want to do is what's harder to do in the moment. Oh yeah, I really wanted to pick up fruit right here. So here's a little trick. Run into scavengers here. It's for fun. And die. Run into scavengers and die. I think there might be something kind of dangerous about this. At the start of a cycle, you might run into the same like groups of creatures. So there's potential that I'll run into those same group of scavengers every single time I go through here now. I guess I could like restart or go through another cycle by eating that scavenger and just sleeping again. Let's see if these scavengers are still here. No, they're not. Oh, I see how it is. I really want to make some grenades for this next area. I think that's the only way you can make it up that. Oh. At least scavengers are up here. So this room is probably the worst room. That worked way too well. So whatever I did there, do that more. It was like, walk a bit forward, do a double jump, and then throw a grenade, and that seemed to hit exactly where all the scavengers were. I was considering like redoing that room like many times to get an idea of where to throw a grenade. Okay, I need to find a consistent strategy for this fight. Once he picks up spears, things become like several times more dangerous. Oh goodness. And then the scavengers start showing up on the other side of the room. And I died. Yep, that makes sense. I saw that there's a thing you can do where you can like on the top platform like spam spears at him. You can get multiple hits on the armor. You also definitely want to use a explosive spear to end the fight once the armor is gone, because it takes quite a few spear hits to kill them after that, after breaking the armor. Only one grenade here. I would like more. When fighting big groups of scavengers, grenades are super good. Grenades slash bombs slash whatever you want to call them, because everything has 20 different names in this game. So what did I do? Jump up here. Yeah, it seems to work out pretty good. Let's also carry a lantern as a shield. See, they're all gone. That seems like a good strategy. I wonder if carrying a lantern would be useful for this fight. I also know that a electric spear has a chance of being very good. Oh, I think I missed that. I didn't want to do that early. I don't have a spear now. This is an explosive spear. Why'd I pick him up? I think the armor's broken though. Yes, armor's gone, so if I just do that again. And I hit them this time, I can just create an explosive spear. Okay. That's good. That's pretty good. I'm going to keep restarting this cycle. because I really wanted to practice the end of the run. The threat music playing in the shelter because of the scavenger. That's fun. It is kind of unfortunate that we don't get to hear threat music that often in speedruns. A lot of the time we're running through a region very quickly, so that the music that starts playing at the very beginning of the region is what plays through the entire region, and you don't get to hear the threat music for it. Oh, why did I take that out? But Metropolis is such a long region so that you're going to get through it. And plus the song that plays here is way better than some other songs that we have to hear in speedruns a lot. Ooh. Okay, we'll have to wait a bit. I don't know if crouching covers faster, like it does as Gourmand. But I might as well still do it, just in case. Wow. That's kind of impressive, honestly. What that scavenger did. Goodness. I should have reacted faster though, by throwing the grenade immediately. Wait. That won't work. I'm just going to be repeating this ending bit for quite a while. And then I might do another like full attempt. I think out of all the characters, well, not really, but Artificer is one of the characters where I feel like I'm more likely to do a lot of attempts, even if I get a full run. Because for Gourmand, the first time I got a full run without any major mistakes, I pretty much just like submitted that one immediately. Like that's good enough for what I'm going for. But for Artificer, even if I complete a few runs, it's likely to not be anywhere close to ideal. So this may just be a whole lot of retrying this run a lot if I get something perfect. Also, I messed up the grenade throw. That was the slowest spear throw I've ever seen. Oh, I think I hit another grenade there. Watch out for your feet. Uh-oh, this is a good scavenger. Didn't expect the turnaround though. Yeah, that elite was like the most terrifying thing I could have seen. It's funny to realize this scavenger gang has just been sitting here the whole time. Just waiting for Artificer to just do whatever they want to the entire scavenger population. And then when I get here, they're just chilling like, hey, they're not even aggressive immediately. So I don't know if grenades are actually useful against this fight at all. They're just kind of camping though. Ooh, wow. That's a direct hit. Surely that does some amount of damage to their armor. Ooh, there they are. I'm still stunned. Yeah, stunned for way too long there. But their armor was gone, so I think the grenades did something. I kind of like that strategy, going up to the platform and throwing as many spears as I can if they're getting launched off the platform. And then jumping off and throwing a grenade back. But that does knock them away quite far, so you can't really continue to deal damage to them. I think that the best actual strategy that you can do is something along the lines of just like stun locking them with the parry and like spamming spears. And then throw an explosive spear at the end. That's unfortunate. I have to wait a bit for stamina. If you do time, like grabbing onto the wall at a specific time, you can, like, actually, like, oops, that was not the right strategy at all. I would like to hit that elite. I just stood there. I would be doing this for quite a while. I want to feel very confident with this part of the run. I don't want to get to this part in an actual run and feel like it's random whether I make it to the end or not. I want to feel like there's like at least a good chance that I'll actually make it through the whole thing, like first or second try. Also try the strat that I found. Okay. You would think that Artificer got stunned for less time than the Scavengers, but that's probably true if you're not too sure. At the same distance. I think I was just closer to the bomb that time. Also, I don't think I should make another bomb because I always seem to only end up using one and then I find another laying around. Whoa, why did that happen? Okay. Probably recover fully because if I want to use a lot more explosive jumps than parries here. Wow. If you just get lucky or unlucky with a elite spawn there, it makes the whole thing a lot harder. This is a scavenger here. Man. It would also be nicer if I could get back to that area a little bit faster. I'm dying so quickly that I end up just spending most of my time just getting back. Also, I can use as many explosive jumps as I want here. Since I'm gonna wait a little bit while making the bombs, so I have time to recharge. So I do a wall pounce, that's not fun. Yeah, throw a lantern at him. And then if the scavengers show up from behind, it makes the whole thing a lot more difficult. If you could just like stay back at the back of the room and just throw spears from that distance. Scavengers pointing at me and saying that I can't cross the toll while I'm dead. And I'm dead. Maybe I'll try 2 grenades again. I was very lucky. But I happened to hit that. I didn't want to make an explosive spear, I think. I can't get the grenade out. I wanted to throw a grenade there, but game said no. Maybe I'll just hold on to both of them, since there's plenty of spears laying around for me to grab. I just do a fast fall there. Hello? New tech that I don't want to do right now? I'm falling faster than normal. I took fall damage there. That's bizarre. I was just carrying in a live scavenger, and then he killed me. It really feels luck based. Sometimes you like take out all the scavengers immediately in a single grenade, and you can just run past. And sometimes there's like scavengers that show up from behind, and scavengers that show up that were like in the back of the room, and some that like survived the explosion, so they're like suddenly a lot closer to you because of the knockback. It would be really nice if there's a way to skip this room. I know there's an alternate route around the room, and I'm sure I didn't even have my hand on the keyboard. There's an alternate route around the room, and if you're not very consistent with this room, I really recommend just taking that route instead. It's way easier. But it's significantly slower, since there's only like 2 rooms from here to the Scav King. If you can get past the toll. Just a lot to ask. I like the first grenade throw that I do. It usually takes out a lot of them. And maybe I should wait a lot longer. Like, don't immediately like rush to this room, but like wait a bit, wait for them to group up. And then throw it. I wish I could see the whole room at once, you know, so I could figure out where the grenades land. So that I know, like, if I had 2 grenades, where should I throw them to cover the largest area? still don't feel confident about this at all. Because there's some like tech. I'll try it out if there's any good spot for it in these rooms. Why is their music already playing? I don't see any good spots for it right now. Okay, right here. Make a grenade. I totally failed. Oh, I don't see any other rocks in this room. Alright, well here's one, but I might as well just do an attempt. I'm trying to do is to throw a grenade and then do a wall pounce so that I'm moving backwards at a decent amount of speed. And then the grenade would push me a lot further after that. Like, that gets you quite far, right? It could clear out, like, all the scavengers there, but then you have to deal with even more. So maybe if I had two grenades, and if I just did that same strategy twice in a row. Let's try that, I guess. I also fear that there is no consistency to any of this. Maybe we'll just be hoping that we get a lucky run at the very end of this already very difficult speedrun. Also, I probably shouldn't make the grenade right there if scavengers might show up out of those pipes. Oh, is there not any other rocks in this room? That's really nice. Also remember that you're not gourmand and you don't craft by holding up. Hang on a little bit here. Let's try 2 grenades if I can find a good spot to throw a second one. I think if I threw, they still always wave their hand like that. That's funny. Maybe I'll try that, something like that spot. But I didn't throw, I accidentally picked up a spear, so it wasn't in the right hand. So that delayed the throw a little bit. And then that scavenger that I would have taken out with the grenade is what killed me, so. Or one of the earlier ones, I don't know. It's all chaotic. Oh, didn't know the camera would move there. I know that unlike some of the other students I've done mostly, this is actually like decently run category. So maybe I should just ask around and see what some other people's strategies are for this route. Because I don't know what the ideal route is, because the speedruns that are on the leaderboards right now might not be representative of the strategy that people have actually found. It's just the strategy that people have done and submitted runs of so far. I didn't want to do a parry there. Okay, I'm kind of liking the 2 grenade strategy. But I can't find I can't throw them very quickly, one after another. I end up doing parries, I end up switching weapons, picking up a spear. Nice jump. Maybe I'll switch hands immediately. Okay. First of all, why'd I drop my grenade? Second, why was there already a scavenger right there? They're all stacked too. They have like tons of spears everywhere. They have electric spears, grenades, explosive spears. I mean, none of it makes a difference. If I get hit by anything, I'm dead. I mean, at least it's nice that there's a shelter right here. I could try like just doing a run without taking this route. Just see, like, maybe it's better just ignore that completely. Also, I might stop with the 2 grenades because I can't seem to find a good place to throw the second one. They're also spread out at that point. It looks so effective though, you know, the way they all get sent flying. I guess I could also try to make better use of parrying, but it feels like it has such a small radius. You're not going to deal with the scavengers that are actually a threat to you. Like, if they're very close, yeah, it would help, but... They don't, like, they don't need to be close to be dangerous. And it also means that you can't do as many double jumps. So less movement. And if you get like stunned while trying to double jump, then that's a perfect opportunity for a scavenger to hit you while you're not moving. Let's try delaying. I mean, I've been doing this first grenade throw every time. Let's try delaying it a little bit. Okay, that was not the place to delay. I didn't expect the scavenger to be right in front of my face. Maybe that's the kind of thing that throwing the grenade early would avoid. Hold up. I want to test if this makes any difference. I was just thinking about how it was kind of funny that we beat the game so quickly that we avoid dreams, but here's one. I think you can exit out of these and it will just continue like normal. Yeah. Let's do that. I thought if this was the one where you could just jump off the edge to end it early, I would have done that. The scavenger should be dead now. How many things are in this shelter? Yes. So this is a new cycle completely, which means that there might be different spawns with the scavengers. I know that can be a problem if you get a particularly bad scavenger spawn, one that's like really good at fighting. Scavengers are always made up of a bunch of different like stats that change their behavior. If you get one that's really good at fighting, then that just makes the end a lot harder. Getting through this room a lot harder. So maybe if I'm like lucky with like their stats and like whether there's elite scavengers or not. Oh, it sucks when that happens. So it's strange when that happens though, right? You would think that either the spears would clash, right, and no one is hit, or one of them is hit before the other and they die, right? But both me and the scavenger dying to like by throwing spears at the same time. You wouldn't think that that's possible. So this area right here is probably why this run is so hard. After getting through everything else in the run, you then have to get through this like one room. That's a very blue scavenger. And if you die multiple times here, the timer just keeps going up. Wow, I jumped to dodge that spear and then it hit me anyway, because it was angled slightly up. I'm not really any closer to figuring out a good strategy, I don't feel like. You know what? No. That scavenger totally just dodged the spear there. Oh, and of course that seems to be the only scavenger here. I got rid of every single other one. And then after this room, you have to fight the Scav King, which is very consistent, very inconsistent on its own. I don't even know how I got there so quickly. On earlier attempts. Tried delaying the grenade a little bit longer. But there's still scavengers like here. Okay, maybe that was a better place, but I also just happened to pick up a second grenade, which was useful. Oh, great. I didn't want that to happen. I haven't mentioned this, but I love the detail of them wearing centipede armor. Like, I think there was a mod that did that where you could pick up the scales from a scavenger or a centipede and it would you could actually use them as armor. Oh, I'm very good at doing parries quickly. I think if that sometimes it feels like these spears like home in on you. Like, I see them throwing the spear at me and I try to move out of the way to dodge it, and then they hit you anyway. I don't know if I'm just slow or if I'm like misreading the trajectory. But I always kind of have the habit of trying to jump above the spear instead of ever ducking under it. So maybe like I'd be more consistent if I did that instead. I don't like this guy. I'm going to be honest. Oh, I didn't make it a second grenade. I think I wanted to try doing that. I kind of like that strategy. 2 grenades. Oh, just steal this pearl real quick. Nice one. That might have been a direct hit right there. I don't like this strategy of having to wait for them, so I might not throw the grenade. I might wait for them to jump down on their own and follow them. Also, I never realized how intricate this background was. There's a lot of detail there. And he's just camping me out now. Knows all the spears are over there. Okay, they're dead. I think they're dead. Yeah, they are. Okay, I'm not happy with that though. Felt like I got kind of lucky. Maybe it is worth, or maybe I should throw the grenade the other way so that they're trapped on the side of the room that doesn't get filled in with scavengers. And also try the grenades, 2 grenades. Oh, no, I don't want you. Am I holding the grenade or the scavenger? Which one would I throw if I tried? 50% chance I explode. Actually, it's 100% chance for Artificer. But with that grenade specifically. I don't even have enough food to make another grenade. I should have... Well, I actually don't have any way to get food. So there goes any strategy with 2 grenades. The other times I did it, I kind of just found a grenade and picked it up quickly enough. Oh, yeah, let me just stun myself there. Somehow that hit someone. I like that they keep coming out, but maybe if they just move over to the hole. Oh, no. I didn't want to throw the grenade. This is very enjoyable. It makes sense though, right? This is supposed to be a dangerous shortcut, right? I mean, if that's how they wanted to design this, maybe they should have thought more carefully about the fact that this is the fastest way to get to the end of their story, which means if you're doing a speedrun, you have to take this route eventually. And it's also... So I think it's like very intentionally difficult to get past this area, but difficult just means like very luck based. good luck actually getting to the end of this. Oh, I blew myself up. I also can't I considered slightly using dev tools to just teleport myself up there faster, but that wouldn't be consistent. It's not accurate to a real run where the scavengers might be in different positions because you have to spend a bit of time to get up here. That's fun. I think they handpicked like the most skilled scavengers to be at that toll right there. They're all like very aggressive and good at aiming. Maybe that's just how they are at tolls, but it feels like, you know, if you just run into a scavenger just somewhere in the world, it's likely that they're not going to be very aggressive. They might not throw their spear immediately. They might run away a bit before approaching. Oh, food though. More unnecessary food. I don't need that much. So I think I was holding onto a rock. I don't know where it went. How that other scavenger just decided to leave. Okay, no grenade for me. That's cool. Wow, I dodged a spear. I never thought that day would come. Well, got nothing up here. Yeah, I don't see there being any strategy for this. That's never going to work. I kind of need to find a strategy for this. Without a strategy for this room, you're leaving up the fate of your run to just random chance. Just like, if you get here in like 20 minutes, you might finish the run in 5 minutes or in 10 minutes. Good luck. Or like 20 minutes, like, you know. I don't want to rely on the very end of a run to determine if it's going to be good or not. I'd like to get here at some specific time and say, okay, I'm going to complete the run in some amount of time after this. Right, and there's even more. I don't think that there's any strategy that could like cover a wide enough area with grenades. It kind of works sometimes to throw one grenade in one specific spot and then a second grenade after that. But unless you perfectly found like grenades already spaced out for you to pick up, which is impossible because they would all be blown up by the grenades that you already threw. But that's the only way I can see you passing this room consistently if you just like consistently found a way to throw grenades at like every single area where there could be scavengers. Like, other than that, what is there to do here? So I've seen in other runs, in other speed runs, they just kind of run through here. You know, maybe they throw grenades at some point, maybe they like keep throwing spears. But that's the strategy. Just kind of get lucky. Or maybe they're just like a lot better. I mean, I've always focused on the movement of this game rather than combat, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're just like better combat players than me. That's totally an option. Alright, I guess it's time to try the goofy strategy. And also, if you've played Artificer for longer, or like gotten pretty consistent at parrying, have to wait a bit here. Okay, and then now there's going to be other scavengers that keep showing up. That's fun. Okay, the goofiest strategy ever anyone's ever come up with. It could have worked. Suddenly I feel like there's a whole lot less scavengers when I was just running through. Maybe I'm waiting too long by creating a grenade. Maybe if I just like rush there as fast as I can. Maybe there's I can get there before the scavengers do, although that sounds unrealistic. Since you have to wait for your explosive chance to recover here. Like, how long would it really take for scavengers to fill out that room? Not long at all, probably. Yeah, there's already a whole crowd, plus elites. I don't know. I can't really think of anything else. It just feels like a really inconsistent end to the run. Both this room and the final boss. I don't even know if it's like possible to get a good run without going through this room. I mean, good run, like relatively. Depends on who you're competing against, what your goal is, right? But the route around this toll is like several rooms long, and these are quite long rooms too, quite large. So it's like several large rooms that you have to go. You know, let's just go through them right now, actually. There's a slight difference because you'd probably want to take a shelter that's like closer, that's on the other side. So you wouldn't start from the shelter, you would just go this route from the start. But no, let's just do this anyway. If I can even remember what the route is. You can go down here. And then skip that, I think. No, this doesn't feel familiar. And of course there's still scavengers. This might be the wrong way though. Yeah, I think you take the route above this. Because I think you go over the top of this room. And still go up there, of course. Wait, do I have the map filled out? I do. So you just take this route instead. You don't need to go down. And then you just jump across this. So the low gravity. Pick up that if you want to. Singularity bomb. Do you go up here? Yeah. I mean, I assume that if it's filled out on my map, then I've taken this route before. This is the speedrun save file. And still the scavengers that you can eventually see. I guess this lizard. It's been a while since I've seen them. This room takes quite a long time to get up because you need to use a lot of double jumps. There is still slight low gravity. Still going forward. Just remember that the alternative to this is going through like 3 rooms. Actually, no, just 2 rooms after the room where the path splits. You'd probably stay in that shelter instead, just for the safety of the fight. But it's even further away from the... Well, it's still like quite far away from the Scav King where you want to go. Still going... We still have further to go. Still have been running into scavengers here and there. I think this is the final room. And the vulture too, just for good measure. Nope, not the final room. I think this one is though. You come out of this, and you just went through a single room. This one room skips all of that. The whole way around. That's the sacrifice, you know. It's probably faster to take this route for most people because you're going to never get past the pole room unless you're very lucky. I really would like to find some strategy that skips it. I get stunned by a rock. I just don't see a way to get past that yet. There's some really weird tech that I kind of saw someone do like one time, but I can't find the video of it. So I might just figure that out. I guess this may be worth testing out a little bit. Nope. Wow, I got sent so far. Right then and there. Why'd I survive for that long? There's no reason that should have worked. See, then you just get lucky. Yeah, well, no, here they all are. Falling from the sky for some reason. I don't want your pearls. Like, for what reason did that work over my previous attempts? And why is there a scavenger here? I can't even make any other weapons. He doesn't have any weapons yet. Why do I have to drop my spear during that? He can pick up the spear if I stab him with it. I just got lucky there. That I happened to pick up a explosive spear right then. So, not a consistent strategy. I mean, maybe it's hopeless. It's like for a consistent strategy. I just need to improve at Artificer. But I guess I'll try out the grenade jump again. I don't even know what the strategy is, or like what the spacing is like. I can't find the video again. There might be something that you can do with like with a dead creature in the pipe. I guess that even if you had to take it at like a dead creature all the way up here, then maybe it'd still be worth it. Of course, there has to be a scavenger right there. Oh, that didn't even work out. Well, we have a dead creature. Do we have a spear? I think you also need a spear to do this. Nope. Well, now we have a spear, definitely. Everyone joining into the stream for 2 seconds only to realize that I'm just dying in this section over and over again. Man, this doesn't look like a speedrun at all. If you're expecting a speedrun, I don't know, maybe the title's kind of ambiguous. If anyone is watching the stream, I do appreciate it, but it's totally understandable what might not be an interesting stream that someone wants to watch. I don't have enough time to set up the thing that I want to do there. Yep, I'm not dangerous at all. Bet he hesitated that long. The way it involves like throwing a grenade up like that. I thought that's like that's the one thing I remember most clearly, that they threw a grenade up. Hi, hello, welcome to the stream. This is... Wow, that's a... Okay, if there's scavengers in this room, you just give up already. I always love watching these streams. Well, I appreciate it, but you're probably not going to love watching this stream. I've been dying for the past like 30 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna try to clear up the situation here. There's a shelter right here, which you usually want to stay at because this next area is very dangerous. You can tell because of how many times I've died here, but there's 2 routes. Okay, so this room right here, this is the Scavenger King room. This is where you fight the final boss and get the ending. So this is our final goal. There's 2 ways to get there. One way is through this room. This room is a scavenger toll, and there's like 20 scavengers here, which is a rough estimate. And I usually die. I have not yet found a good way to get through this room, but it's only like 1 room that you have to get through. The alternate route is to take this whole path around, all the way over here and back. Usually you'd stay in that shelter, and you still have to go through a few rooms before you get to the king. That's the alternate route. So clearly, if we found a way to get through the scavenger toll, it would significantly improve future speedruns, because we would know that we could like consistently get to the end of the run, and like there wouldn't be as much randomness with whether we actually get to complete the run or how fast it takes, how long it takes. Okay. Oh wait, that would work. Imagine there's a secret path up here that skips the room. If only. That just does not give you that much height. I can't even make another grenade now. The thing is that Artificer has kind of a resistance against explosions, which I guess that makes sense, right? So you don't actually get knocked back as far. Any other character would get sent flying across the room if they use a grenade there, or even just an explosive spear. But I actually just show you right here. Wow, I got so much distance out of that. That's the kind of strategy that I would like to use. Use explosives to launch yourself across the room. You just can't, there's just no way to get enough speed from that unless you do something else that's crazy that I'm not aware of. But I feel like as long as there's no good way to do this room, and I have doubts about doing an entire Artificer run. Like, what else could I do? If I feel like if I don't find a consistent strategy for this, the end of the run, I'm not going to be interested in actually doing runs, because they're all going to end in the same way of probably dying to this last room several times, so I can't actually finish the run. I didn't even do it correctly. There's something that you could do from up here, maybe. This doesn't. There's nothing up here that would help. That's usually what happens in successful attempts. Right, through that second grenade after there's a clump on the other side of the room. But I don't, it's hard to get to that point. It's very hard. Now these all armed. You can't stun him either. It hits the armor and he's immediately ready to throw a spear. I can try the grenade jump again. Doesn't really feel like it's working. What I'm trying to do is an extended instant hop. That tech. By using the speed from that jump alongside the knockback from the explosion. If the knockback adds to your speed, then it should like send you flying across the room. Even though Artificer has that resistance, that knockback resistance, it's still like a decent little boost that you get from grenades. So maybe it's just barely enough to get across the whole room. I need a spear though. I want to get up here again. Maybe you don't need a spear, but I can't even do a slide properly. See, now at this time, the scavengers just happen to be moving over to this side of the room more. And if there's a scavenger on the other side of the room, don't even like think about it. I think I jumped into the spear. I should have stunned them before running away. Like, I can't even do it normally. Does that even really get you that far? I guess I could just practice. Well, the thing is, I can't really do it here. I did have a strategy where I tried to use 2 grenades when entering the room, but I no longer have enough food to even try that. I guess I could try the other strategy that I thought of that might work. Oh, great. Now I can't even get up there. I threw the spear too high. Now this guy's after me. I wanted to pick up that pearl. Here, guys, have pearls. I mean, you do need to pay them with a pearl to get past the toll, right? Surely that would work, right? Well, it gets you somewhere, right? Surprised that I don't immediately throw a spear at you when you're stunned, but now, like, how do I get out of there? Did not mean to do that at all. Is that really going to be a consistent strategy? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I guess anytime I get past the toll, it's an opportunity to practice this fight. Oh, great, yeah. Miss everything else there. Wow, that's a high angle to throw. I can't do that. But then yeah, like if you're in that kind of position where they're on a slope above you, it's really hard to stun them with a parry. I think that there's like a check if there's like a line of sight between you. But even a few blocks in the way, like the way the slope is lined up, that would prevent them from being stunned. so it's not a consistent strategy, and plus they can just immediately throw downwards at you. Anyone who has like the mod that lets you throw in any direction, they probably had a lot of fun in this fight. That did not do a great job at getting rid of them at all. That felt lucky, right? They could have thrown a spear at me at any time, and they're still there. They're still waiting for me to come down. Wow, that worked. It's definitely a strategy that I can use in any future run that would work all the time. Yep. It's funny, if he doesn't have a spear, he's actually completely harmless. Oh, I didn't want to knock him over there. There might be a spear you can pick up. Maybe if I try a strategy like that, but have a explosive spear prepared to immediately throw at him. Could I do that consistently? I don't know. I don't think so. I'd have to break his armor, stun him, and then like get him into a position where I can throw an explosive spear. I don't think it's possible to hit him without breaking the armor first. Well, I think I might end the stream. I'm kind of just like running into a brick wall here. I feel like I could get consistent at the rest of the run, right? It's not that bad. You know, there's some scavengers you have to fight here and there. It's kind of annoying to try to get the scavenger there, but I got to the wall like a few times with the scavenger body. Even without a vulture mask, which is something that made attempts hard in the past. I had spent a lot of attempts just trying to get a vulture mask in the first place. And at the end, if I can get by without a vulture mask, I don't need to do that. And then get a lot more runs done as a result, right? But unless I find some way to get past the end there, like I guess I could try a run where I just like don't bother with that last room. Just do the alternate strategy, still have to fight a few scavengers, and then the scav king, of course, I'm gonna have to still find a consistent strategy. But there's some interesting stuff that you can do, I think. So I saw someone do it one time. I can't find that video. If I did, I might practice that strategy if I figure out what they actually did. Or something to do with a dead creature that you could bring up there. I think it's something to do with like if you stab a creature into a wall with a spear, and then you pick them up and then drag them through a pipe, it might like send you flying out of the pipe on the exit. And if you line that up properly, which doesn't even sound like a realistic thing, if they could just send you in a random direction, but you might get sent across the whole room. There's like never really any movement tech in the game that lets you just consistently fly across a several screen wide room. And I never really felt like there's a difference between doing a successful run of that room and not successful. Sometimes the scavengers will just be in the right positions for grenades to take them all out. Or I might like randomly find a grenade in the middle of the room that I can pick up and throw, right? And hopefully there wouldn't be any scavengers at the beginning of the room or at the end of the room or in the room before the toll. You know, there's so many random factors. And sometimes like elite scavengers would show up and make everything a lot harder because they'd be jumping around separate from the main group of scavengers. I feel like if I don't, no, I didn't really come any closer to finding a strategy for that room. And I don't really want the end of my runs to be try to run through this toll and hopefully make it to the end, and then hopefully beat the Scavenger King after that. I don't want that to be the speedrunning category, because the rest of it, it's like kind of rough, but it's all right. I can get to Metropolis consistently. I think I could get to that point, but just ending the run, and like if you die like too much there, you add like several minutes to the end of your run, even if everything else was perfect. I'd rather that not be the case. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the stream. It wasn't that long or interesting, but hopefully I can find some more consistent strategies and actually do attempts at this run that I'm like confident about. Yeah, all right. Anyone who didn't decide to watch this, thanks, I guess. See ya.